Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me today for my presentation. It's great to see so many people interested in this subject, and I hope that some of the ideas presented here today will help you build a more successful business in the future. As John said, there are still people arriving, so I will be letting guests in as we go along. And just to let you all know that Zoom is new for me. I've been using a different system in the past. So if everything goes blank and you can't hear me anymore, just bear with me. It's all slightly different. But I hope that the ideas that I present today you will be able to implement straight away into your coaching business. We have more or less 2 hours together. And of course, I don't want to talk for 2 hours. Of course not. I want to hear also a little bit from you guys, and I will present a few questions and will be interested in your feedback. We will stop maybe after every 2 or 3 sections. And if you could use the chat box that we have to put a question in, we will address those questions in the break. And as John said, if you can mute your microphones just so there's no background noise, that would be excellent. You will all receive today's webinar as both as the video and as a PDF next week or the week afterwards. So you have the opportunity to go over the sections again. And of course, I'm always available. I'll leave you my email address at the very end. If you have any other questions, I'm always available to help. It would be great also if you can take some notes. You know, the aim today for me is to give you some strategies, give you some ideas that you can implement directly into your coaching business. And if you take a few notes of things that stand out for you, things that you think you could be doing better, that would be, of course, the idea. And I also would love to hear from you guys. You know, I'm a big believer in sharing information, not holding it all to yourself. I think if we share our ideas, our successful ideas and opinions, we'll all be more successful and we'll all elevate our incomes and our entire professional industry. So yeah, it would be great if you have an idea. If I cover something and you think, well, I do it this way and it's been very successful, I'm sure the rest of your colleagues would also like to hear that. So this presentation today is based upon my personal experiences. As John said, I've been coaching now just over 20 years. And I will introduce myself a little bit in a moment for those of you who don't know me. But I've managed over the years to build a successful golf business. And everything that I cover today in this presentation, it works. It's either something I've implemented myself with success, or it's been implemented by colleagues or friends, and they're tried and tested strategies. And of course, the idea is to help you maximize your income as a modern day PGA professional. And I feel that this is a very important subject, especially regarding the current situation with COVID. We are faced with new uncertainties of golf course closures, restrictions in our ability to maybe do certain types of tuition. And it's more important now than ever that we look at expanding our business and understanding that there are multiple streams of income available to us, that if one income stream is stopped or blocked or banned, as the current case is in some countries, as many of you maybe know, that I actually work in Germany, and we have a slight lockdown at the moment. So for example, group lessons are no longer allowed in Germany. In Switzerland, there is also restrictions. So we're not allowed to be reliable on just one source of income. And I remember the General Assembly, Keith Marriott, saying that if you're a young professional coming into the business right now, it's not guaranteed that you are going to have a livelihood. It's not guaranteed that you're going to be able to send your kids to college. And the strategies that I want to share with you today, they show that it is still possible to earn a substantial amount of money as a golf professional. But as the times have changed, we have to look at doing things differently. What I wanted to achieve with this presentation was obviously to address the business aspect of golf, because I feel that 90 to 95% of the further education out there, and certainly the further education that I've seen in the last 20 years, has been based on coaching. And there's been very, very little to help PGA professionals or sports coaches in general to manage their actual business. And we all know it's one thing to be a successful coach and give a good golf lesson and help people improve their game, but it's another thing to run a successful business. So learning to become a better coach doesn't improve your business. We all love to listen to the great coaches, and I've read hundreds of books from the greats. And of course, becoming a better coach does help you become busy, and it helps you get a reputation. But then once you have this reputation and you do help people, it doesn't necessarily make you a good business person and a clever business person. I also have felt that we have a lot of opportunities as a golf professional. And when I talk to my colleagues, I see that most of them are not using the opportunities available to them to build a successful business. And this is something that I want to change, because I feel we have a very unique position in the golfing industry, and something that we can definitely, take advantage of. The value and the importance of a golf professional, what they can offer within the sport. I remember when I first moved to Switzerland in 2002, going out with a group of friends and meeting some Swiss people, and telling them that I was a golf professional. And they said, yeah, but what's your real job? What do you do really for a living? And I said, well, no, I'm a golf coach. I teach golf. And they said, yeah, but can you earn money with that? And I definitely feel we've been, especially in the German-speaking countries, undervalued as a profession, where people often think that we are good golfers who do a little bit of coaching on the side. And I think some of the strategies in this presentation will elevate our reputation and help out of how important we can be to golf clubs and to golfers within the sport. And of course, that means promoting the professionalism of the industry as well. And at the end, the drive is to improve the standard of for all golf professionals. We all want to be successful. We're all passionate about our business and about the sport. That's why you're here today. That you want to be better. You want to be more successful. And if I can do anything to help that, then that would be a huge success. A small overview of how the breakdown of this presentation today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the everyday coaching, the everyday driving range coaching, of how we can change that to increase our income, how we can go about building a successful customer base, the avenues that are available to us for extra income within golf, specifically within golf. I'm going to talk a little bit about partnerships, how we can elevate our reputation, and how the sharing of our knowledge can be monetized, and how we can earn money through that. And I'm going to go into a little bit about how you build businesses next to golf, how we should be communicating and the tools that we should be using as a modern day golf professional, and then how we can use the online arena to increase our income. So a little bit about me, just for those of you that don't know me, everything that I present today, like I said, is about my experiences, and they are lessons learned through failure, as most lessons are. Without failure, there's no success. And I came to Switzerland in 2003. I was already, unfortunately, in debt from working hard and earning no money in Great Britain. And I came to Switzerland to make a fresh start. My first position was in Limpachtal, which at the time was a 9-hole golf course called Golf Club Buchigberg. And I got into the habit of, during the season, I was earning good money. And I got into this habit of working very hard through the season and then more or less spending the money in the winter and pretty much starting the year fresh in March at the same position that I was the year before. And yes, in the winter times, I was enjoying my life. I was going out, I was having dinner, I was buying clothes, I was doing some trips, but I certainly was by no means blowing my money. But every single week, I seem to be in the same position, praying that we have a good start to the season. The weather would be good. Guys, can I just ask you to mute your microphones, please? Just for the background noise. So yeah, I would be in the same position every year. I would be starting with no money in March. And this went on for a few years. And in 2008, I got the job in Margrafaland in Camden, where I still am a professional. And it all changed. I became self-employed. And now suddenly I was responsible for everything. There was nobody to book my lessons for me. There was nobody to market my lessons. There was nobody to promote my lessons. And if I didn't work, I didn't earn any money. So I had to make a big change. I knew that the cycle that I'd got into of earning in the summer, spending in the winter, that they couldn't go on any longer if I wanted to make some headway with my life and possibly buy property in the future, buy a house, and simply become wealthier. So this was where the big change happened. And I decided at that moment that I would go on a course of self-development, that I would educate myself in business, that I would educate myself in wealth management, that I would improve my knowledge as much as I could to become a successful golf professional, a professional who increases his income year on year and builds a sustainable business. And what I found through that self-development was the more I did in regards to education, the more I did in regards to business development, wealth management, the more value I gave to my customers, the more I shared my knowledge, the more income I made. And this is the experience that I want to share with you today. What I also realized was that the golf business was changing, the golden days of just turning up to a full...
Oh, we have a good evening.
That was changing, that people were becoming a little bit more decisive with what they do with their money. The 100 franc lesson, some people were not joining golf clubs. It was also the time of the financial crisis, 2007, 2008. Some people were becoming a little bit more, well, do I want to spend 100 francs on a golf professional? You know, what am I going to get good value, or shall I use it as a green fee and go and play with my friends? And I felt that the entire environment of coaching in Switzerland and Germany and the bordering areas, it was changing, and that I had to change with it. That meant, as I said, re-educating myself. As John stated, I did a marketing degree. I followed that with a master's in digital marketing. I did many coaching certificates, but generally I just read books on everything possible in order to prepare myself for this self-development challenge. So moving forward into the presentation, the first part today is really your business philosophy. You know, how do you see your golf business? Now, I know some of you are employed and you don't have a massive say on what you can do, but many of you do have influence over what you offer and what the courses are that are available. And the question I have for you really is whether you are offering real value to your customers. And what I believe is really important for us as an industry is that we need to move away from the 1 hour golf lesson strategy, where that we fill our book, we feel happy about it, we have 10 hours or 9 hours or whatever your book allows, 6 days, 7 days a week. We work very hard, it's very tiring, and we are very restricted in what we are able to earn. There is a cap, there is a roof on what you are able to earn. And we know there is only 24 hours and there's only 7 days a week. And it's proven to be less effective than other coaching strategies, not only from an income point of view, but also for the student who comes and has their 1 hour lesson every week. There are better strategies out there. And I feel in terms of increasing our hourly rate, we'll talk about that later, we need to try and change this golf strategy. We need to be measuring the improvement of our students. We need to be finding out whether what we're doing with them is actually improving their game. Is a 1 hour or a 45 or 50-minute golf lesson on the driving range, is it going to improve them? If they can hit their 5-wood a little bit better, does it make them a better golfer? Are they telling you the truth? You know, we all know no one likes to practice their weaknesses. And if Mrs. Schmidt comes for her 9 o'clock lesson every Monday morning and you ask her, what is she up to today? Or would like to look at, well, I didn't hit my 5-wood very well yesterday. Then, you know, is that really going to make her a better golfer? She might tell you that she can putt very well, but if you take her on the putting green or ask her to make some statistics, it's quite possible that her putting statistics are 40, 42 putts around. So we need to move away from this single driving range lesson, and we need to be structuring practice students, guiding their development. And by doing that, we need to see them on the golf course. We need to spend more time on the golf course, and the 1 hour golf lesson is the answer to improvement. And because of that, we are seeing that people are becoming to spend money professional. And that's what I meant the golf industry changing. Is that I think people have think for many years and haven't necessarily and they also think spent a lot of money and so I feel like as you need to be adding much more value, not just the 1 hour lesson, but much more value. Practice plans, sending them videos of the improvements, links will help them, uploading their golf to coaching platforms where they can access and really trying to cover customers and potential customers, and at the same time thinking about working and what are we earning in terms of our hourly rate. Are we doing 2 hour lessons, how much value can we give, we add to our service that means we can earn more money, but also that our students more from they spend with us. So I ask you all now, what is on your coaching menu? What do you offer your students? And I give you an example of some of the things that I have on my coaching menu, if you like, some of the things I offer my students. And I think it's important that we have a service for every single potential customer and for every customer. Some of your customers would love to be on the golf course. Some of your customers want to have an intensive day with you. Some of your customers find you too expensive and will come and won't pay 100 francs for an hour of your time. But can you offer them something as well, rather than nothing? And we have here some options: on-course lessons, we know 9-hole lessons, 18-hole playing lessons, group lessons. We know that we earn more money in group scenarios. Plus, if you have two groups on the same day, you can actually repeat the same training twice on a day. So something I do over the winter with my group students. Practice clubs, I'll talk about that in a moment. Golf packages, which could be subscription packages, where we include lessons, coaching platforms, maybe even a fitness checkup, discount on a golf trip. That's, there's many options there. Subscription golf, like I said, something where pay monthly or even yearly, that people pay and then everything included. This would be something for your VIP guests or your students who really want to improve and are willing to invest time and energy into your coaching and want something a little bit different from everybody else. Peak time pricing. It's interesting that Switzerland, Germany, Austria, you don't see it very often. Peak time pricing is very popular in other parts of the golfing world. If someone wants a golf lesson with you between 5 and 8, evening, in any other business, this would be the peak time, or Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. And in other industries, the price would be higher than somebody who wants to come on a Tuesday morning. And what I've offered to my students, and it doesn't happen very often, but now and again, is that if somebody wants a lesson with me during my lunch break, it's a 50% increase because it's my time and I'm having my lunch. And if it's an emergency lesson and my students haven't booked in time, and like I said, it's not for everybody, but I have had people come and pay 50% more because they want that lesson there and then. And of course, they understand it's my lunch break and they're willing to pay more. So that's something to consider. Long distance learning. I have a story. I was traveling last winter. My wife and I took a cruise to Cuba and South America. And we had a stopover in Miami, and we had more or less a whole day to spend. So we went and played 9 holes at a local golf club, and we were paired with a gentleman. And after 3 or 4 holes, he said, "Oh, are you a golf professional?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, where do you coach?" I said, "Well, actually, I live in Switzerland and I coach in Germany." And we got talking, and he asked me about his putting and what were my philosophies on the swing. And then at the end of the 9 holes, he said to me, can we work together? Is it possible that I work from Florida and you work from Switzerland? Is it possible? And I said, of course it is. We can set up a long distance learning program. And we spent 3 months in the winter online coaching. And he uploaded his swings to me, sent me his golf swings. I gave him feedback. And he improved his golf in those 3 months. He was really happy. And he's practicing in the sunshine in Florida, and I'm sat in the the soup in Basel. So, you know, that it makes the world very small. It's a great option to have, that you could be coaching somebody from the other side of the world. You have your playing weeks where you can set up tournament weeks for coaching, half-day workshops, summer and winter camps, your golf trips you could do locally and abroad, obviously webinars like we're doing now. In the winter months, I do a mental game webinar for my students. I had, I think, 10 participants last year, 4 parts. The 30-minute premium, again, something I do. If you only want a quick checkup and you're only interested in a quick fix, it's going to cost you more money, because if I only do a 30-minute lesson, I do want to be rewarded for that. It goes against my philosophy of long-term learning, something you can integrate. Something I'm trying to do, not able yet to do, but something that I think the future, that there is no such thing as a 30-minute or a 60-minute lesson. That really is a minimum of 90 minutes or more. Go to the top coaches, your David Ledbetters, your Butch Harmons. You can't have a 1-hour lesson with them. You can only spend a morning or a half day or a full day with them. And I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, are you offering club fitting as an option for your lessons? Golf-related seminars? Could you be doing rules seminars? Could you be doing mental game seminars? Could you be doing strategy seminars, off-season, on-season, evening time when it's dark? Corporate days for businesses, I'll come back to that later, in partnerships. Winter golf groups, something I had big success with the last couple of years, is people who want to train through the winter in a group atmosphere. It motivates them. You get 16 people, 2 groups, it goes down well. VIP packages, intensive courses, and golfing days away. You know, these are all interesting ways to earn a living and go against the 10 hours on the driving range of giving them the one repetitive lesson over and over again. And obviously you're going to enjoy more doing half of these things for sure, going away, playing, seminars, and you're going to be able to charge more as well, because you're going to be mostly group atmospheres or away days, and therefore, you know, it's a nicer way to work and a way to earn more money. Practice Club, this is something I started last year. It's a Friday evening club. There's no registration. It's 6 Fridays a season. You just turn up. It costs you 25 euros. Sometimes I have 15 people. Sometimes I have 4 people. And we practice together. You know, I show them how I would practice something. And this was a huge success. And very easy. And if no one turns up, you just practice yourself, or you do some administration. I'm sure we've all got things to do. And one thing I learned from this practice club idea was that a lot of people came who wouldn't normally take lessons. And a lot of people came who didn't know people in the golf club, beginners, people who always played on their own, and they met new friends. And they met new people, and they really enjoyed it, and it was the highlight for them. And of course, it's cheap, and some people who don't want to pay for expensive lessons or deem it to be expensive will turn up here and pay 25 euros for 90 minutes without a doubt. And what I would offer then is we'd go for a drink afterwards. So, you know, we would spend some time to get to know the people personally. And it was a huge success. And like I said, I think the most I had one week was 17 people. So you can calculate what the hourly rate was there. And we all went for a drink and a bit of food in the clubhouse afterwards. And 2 or 3 of those members started taking lessons, private lessons off me, who had never, ever been to any of my lessons before. So it's also a chance for you to showcase your skills. I just want to propose here a simple course of how we can incorporate upselling and funneling. This is another, so we take one of those examples, how we can just add a little bit of income to our courses using some marketing strategies. This is the Putt Out of Your Mind course. This is for Frau Schmidt, who takes 42 putts around. you're going to learn how to become a great putter in this intensive 3-hour course. Now, we limit it to 6 people, which is called scarcity marketing. Scarcity, I want to be involved. There's not many spaces. Sign me up. Okay. We make a personalized practice plan for the members for the participants of the course. We're adding value. We make the plan before, we fill it in. It takes us 5 minutes, but they get their own practice plan. If you have something like a SAM putting lab, you allow your participants to use it. Maybe you do a quick SAM report. Again, you add value to the course. Plus, there's an upsell potential. Here, you could get someone come back for a putting fitting, or says, wow, I love this SAM. I learned more today than I've ever learned. You know, can we book a putting lesson, an intensive putting lesson using SAM next week? Also for putter fitting, you could use this. So there's a potential upsell there. I always give on the courses a small participant prize. It adds value. It could be something like some golf balls. You know, we all know that we get golf balls exceptionally cheap from our sponsors and from golf companies, or we even get given them for free. You know, a little prize just to say thank you for joining, adds value to the course. Then you can upsell again here. If you said, like, for all participants of this course today, there's a 10% discount on putters if someone buys a putter. If you don't get commission on your club sales, then something you should look at trying to do, or if you sell your own equipment, or if you can make contact with somebody who sells equipment and you get some sort of commission. And if you sell 1 or 2 putters on that day, you know, there's extra money there. Plus there's value for the customer, as they're going to get a discount on the putter. I like to include coffee and drinks. I've included lunch as well in some of my courses. Obviously, you calculate that with the price, and you allow for X euros or X Swiss francs on top. But again, you're adding value. People come and say, oh, this was great. I paid only this, and I bought a new putter afterwards, and I used SamLab, and we had a lunch together. And this is an example really of how you can earn more money just from a standard course. And then in terms of more sales and also funneling, any training aids you've used on that day, whether you've used the mirrors or whether you've used some of the things that make the holes smaller, you need to have them available for people to buy. You know, if somebody finds a training aid that they've used on that day and they find it brilliant, they will say to you, where can I get this? Is it on Amazon? Can I buy it? And you say, no, well, actually, I've got them here. You know, today you can buy one. And I've sold many training aids at the end of my courses where, you know, I've had 10 of them in my locker. I've used them in the course, and 5 of them, people have said, this is great, I want this. So, you know, have those things available at the end of your course. Make sure your customers can buy them, because they will go somewhere else and buy it if they like it, and that's money coming out of your pocket. And then you always have to funnel your customers to the next course. If you're just finishing the putting course, you need to have some information available, maybe a flyer about the ultimate chipping course that you're doing at the end of the month. There's limited spots available. If you sign up now, you're guaranteed your spot. You give it there. If they've just enjoyed their putting course with you, they're signing up for the chipping course there and then. If they leave the putting green and go to think about it, they might forget about the course, and they'll say, oh, I forgot that chipping course and it was last week. I wanted to do that. Don't let that happen. Fill your next course. If all 6 of them jump straight onto the chipping course, then you can set up another one and then get 6 new customers. And again, you've increased your income off this one course. So I hope you can see there with that very small example of how you can turn just your normal hourly rate into a mass of extra income. And whether it's 20, 30, 40, 50 euros with the potential for more, if you do that on all your courses, that will end up to be quite a lot of money by the end of the season. These are some of the things, for example, I've seen, or I personally sell. So the posture strap is something I sell personally. I've sold the eyeline putting mirror in the past. I've had 5 or 6 of them and sold them at the end of my lesson. But these are just examples, if you use any of these, of things that you can directly sell to your customers at the end of the lesson. So the secret ingredient for me in terms of earning higher income is adding value. And I want you to ask yourselves now, going on for the example I've just given, you know, how can you add more value to what you're doing right now? You know, think of what you offer, think of the services you offer. What could you do right now to offer a little bit more value, to give your customers more? Because giving more will give you more back. As this cycle shows, that if you want more income, you can add more value. What can I do to add more? You can give more, you can give back more. And if you show appreciation for your customers, confidence in you, it will add up to more income. And something I've done over the last couple of years, which has been a huge hit, is I've held a small party at the end of the season for my customers. This one was held in Porsche in Basel. I did a small indoor golf course with scorecard, chipping, putting, throwing. I think we had 35 guests. Of course, I paid for it with drinks and aperitif, but it was excellent, and my customers really appreciated it. I think on that night, 2 or 3 people signed up for my winter package. One person signed up for a golf trip after that evening that wasn't planning on coming. And if you say thank you and you do things for your customers, you will earn that back. You will earn that back. They will spend more money on you and what you're doing, and they're very thankful for what you're doing for them. So I believe your income is a reflection of your creativity and the ability to solve other people's problems, directly. So before we move on to part 2, which is building our customer base, I'm just going to very quickly check the chat box and see if there is any questions. If there isn't, I will continue. If you have a question, please put it in there, and of course I will answer. I'm just going to have a little bit of something to drink. As I said, I don't want to be the one talking for 2 hours straight, so if anything comes to mind, please put it in. If there's nothing in there, so I will continue. So how do we go about building our customer base? So this is something I truly believe in, that lazy golf professionals are a dying breed. I think the days have gone where our customers will run to us. The days have gone where we don't have to do anything to become busy. And I feel we have to be very proactive in our job, and this will pull people towards us. It's like a magnet, and that's why we have this magnet here. The more you are doing, and the more you are seen to be organizing courses and trips and workshops and advertising, the more people will be drawn to you, and the more people will want to be involved, and the more in your club or driving range people will be talking about this course and that course, and Adam's doing this, and did you see he's going to play there, and I was at his course last week, and this and this and this, and that's definitely the case. Yeah. I've always felt that you need to get involved in club competitions if you want to meet members. I know some of you are working on ranges, and it's slightly different, but you can go and talk to people on the range. But do the starting, do the prize giving, pop to the halfway house during a members event, speak to the members, play in the monthly medal, join the men's group or the ladies group for an event or two. You need to be seen, and you need to be involved in the members club life. I remember my first year in Camden, our golf director, Graham Curry, saying to me, well, you know, nobody knows you, you're going to have to go out and meet the golfers. So I walked along the driving range, introduced myself. My name's Adam Lam, I'm the new professional, just introducing myself. I played in 1 or 2 competitions. I did a couple of prize givings. I wrote in the newsletter. I wrote a letter personally to the members, and I made sure that the members knew who I was and that I was there to coach. And I wouldn't allow anybody on the driving range that I didn't know. And sometimes I would walk up to people and say, "Hi, I'm Adam Lamb. I'm the new professional here," and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm just a guest. I'm playing." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." But anyway, here I am, and you need to be doing that. You need to, you cannot expect today people to come to you and you do nothing. Contact the member sections, the ladies, the seniors, the men's. Ask to do something for them. Can you do a small seminar? Can you do a small putting competition? Could you do a longest drive for them, or just get them together before they play? They're playing every week. The sections are quite big. Get involved in them. Do something for them, because you will get people coming to you for lessons, no doubt about it. The sections are the guys and the ladies who are really, really, into their game, who really play regularly, and they're the ones who you can grab and say, "Listen, come to my course, and you will get new lessons from it." You can organize long drive competitions or a Friday evening 9-hole series, something I did many, many years ago with a company, my Sports Collective company. I organized a 9-hole competition where I did all of the scorecards with a playoff at the end of the year. And of course, I was able then on the first tee to meet a whole host of people. I actually did it regionally. I did it in Rheinfeld and in Camden and in Lulac. And I got to know a lot of people through that. Try something like a how to smoke your driver lesson or a longest drive competition with a TrackMan, and you're going to help people over the foundations of how to hit your driver first. And you have a group of people come down before they play, and you show them what they need to do to hit the driver better. And this way you will really meet new people and potential students. Pros Invitational, something we've always done in Margraffenland. I haven't done it for the last couple of years. It's an event organized by you and your colleagues. You organize it, you provide the prizes, and if you get 50, 60 people, it's a great way of interacting with members, and they really appreciate it. And you literally have the whole day with them to get to speak to them and talk to them about what you're doing and things like that. And something I also recommend is like a 45-minute golf lesson voucher. Of course, you'll be moving up 45 minutes soon, but a voucher for the last place. It's very funny. People, they see the funny side of it. It's not going to cost you much to give one golf lesson free to somebody who's struggling with their game, and then they might sign straight up for a package afterwards. These are some ways of really getting in touch with new customers. Let's not forget the customers we already have. Build feedback into everything you do. Criticism is the only way we can improve our services. Reach out to customers you haven't heard from. Propose new ideas to loyal customers for their feedback, and give your customers a channel to share their ideas with you. At the end of the season, send them a feedback sheet. Ask them what they thought about what you were offering this year. How could you improve your service? What could you do differently? What would they be interested in? And when your customers see that you are changing your services and improving your services for them, they will be signed up straight away. And it's really important that you have some sort of feedback system in your business where customers can really say, yeah, I'm part of what he's offering, and it's something that will help me improve as a golfer. So we're going to move on to part 3. This is now golf-related streams of income, and we're talking directly now on earning money from golf within the golf industry, within your golf clubs. And there's a whole idea here of ways that you can earn money from, like we mentioned, some things on the coaching menu. Golf trips, we know if we can offer a really good golf trip, there's a lot of potential income in it. What I would say about the golf trips is do it your way, do it how you find it best to do. If you hate them and you only do them because of the income, change them. Change them to how it works for you. Change the trip so that you don't have to or need to sit down with everyone for dinner every single night if you don't want to. Change it if you don't want to play 18 holes with them every day. Make the trip work for you. Add value in other ways. Of course, you're still there to improve their game, but make it work. The same with golf days out. All of these things you should be doing on your terms, how you will enjoy what you're doing and how you will be passionate about what you're doing, because then it doesn't feel like hard work. Think of workshops and seminars you could be doing, especially in the winter, rules courses, club repairs. If you know, we all did that as part of our qualification. If you can repair clubs and nobody at the golf club offers it, repair. Go in your basement, get a little table, make club repairs. You can earn money from it, especially in the winter time with grip changes and things like that. Equipment sales, like I said, if you get involved in the equipment, even if it means commission. Golf books. Do you have golf books? Can you sell golf books? Your customers are always going to come to you and ask you, which book shall I read? Maybe you go, you know, if you have a source that you know there's a book that you can sell to most of your customers, see if you can get it cheaper. Even if you make £5 on every book, it's an extra source of income. Training aids we talked about, old equipment sales. You know, how many Scotty Cameron putters have you got stored away that you just look at every day and never ever use? How many drivers, sets of irons, you know, why? Unless they're going to increase in value, sell it all. Sell old equipment. If it's just lying in the cellar, you'll be amazed how you can make 2,000-3,000 francs quickly from selling old drivers and sets of irons across marketplace or eBay. Golf balls, accessories, clothing. If you're able to get involved in it, you know, your customers are going to ask you what ball should they use. As long as you're not directly in conflict with the shop, you can tell them you would recommend this ball and you can get it for them. And again, chance to earn money. Anything in the area of fitness and well-being, there's potential to earn money. Wellness and lifestyle. You know, your students trust you and they want to hear your opinion. And if you recommend something that helps them sleep better, or you recommend something like a piece of clothing or something, they're going to listen to you and they're going to say, okay, yeah, I want one of them. And another great way of added income is, of course, the distribution of products. You know, whether you're able to distribute products for a company. And that's where we come on to commission and sales. Try and become an affiliate or a distribute. So it's got to be something you believe in. It's got to be something that you're passionate about. It won't work if you just think, oh, I sell this watch here, it's crap, but I get 20 francs for every one every one I sell. It's not going to work. It needs to be something you believe in. If it's a product where you really, really use it regularly and you like it, and you can, you know, people are going to hear that when you recommend it to them. They're going to hear that you're passionate about it and that it works, and they're going to buy it. They're going to buy it. And if they realize it's a load of crap and what you've sold them, they're going to, you know, is rubbish, they're going to feel cheated, and it's your reputation at the end of the day. So, you know, make sure it's a product that's good quality and it's something that you stand behind and say, no, I'm proud to sell this. I believe in it. Think about the things you do like and contact the suppliers. You know, you'll be surprised at how many suppliers are crying out for contacts to be able to sell their products. And most companies today have an affiliate program where you earn commission on your sales with codes and other things. And if you bring a new customer to them, you earn money. You know, so this is a source of income, a potential source of income. And I can tell you from my own experience, you might think that it's a very small amount, but if you're earning small amounts on multiple products and courses, over 6 to 12 months, it gets into the thousands. And that's really, you know, without you having to do a huge amount of work extra on what you're doing. So once again, before we move on, we're going to have a very small break there. I hope you're all still awake. It's funny doing the Zooms because you feel like you're just talking to yourself, of course. So I hope you're all out there and you're taking notes and enjoying these ideas. And again, like I said, if you have anything that you want to ask me, put it in there and we'll discuss it towards the end. Part 4, I want to talk a little bit about partnerships. So as some of you already know, I'm a sports ambassador for Porsche. I work in the area of sport and golf for the northwest of Switzerland for Porsche Basel. I'm also an ambassador for Julian de Berg watches. These are strategic partnerships where I use my influence and my scope, if you like, to promote products that I believe in. Obviously, as John described at the beginning, I'm car crazy. I have been since I was little. I love cars, especially sports cars. So it's a dream come true for me to represent Porsche. I've been with them now for 5 years. And friends of mine who I taught actually in Limpachtal, a lovely family, the son and the daughter created this watch company, Julian de Berg. And I was straight up to help them and support them as well with their new watch business. Passionate about both companies and able to earn income and commission through companies that really wouldn't have to pay me to use their products. Now, I think this is important for everyone out there, for all of you. Don't underestimate how valuable you are to a company. The position that you have within the industry is very, very important. Most businesses spend hundreds of thousands of euros every year, big companies, on trying to communicate their message to their customers and potential customers. Now, much of that is money that's spent without really knowing if the message has landed at the door of the customer. So magazines, television, even advertising on some of the social media outlets, it isn't specifically targeted. You cannot guarantee that your target audience is listening. And what we have as a golf professional is we have direct, unrestricted access to customers. This is something a business would pay a lot of money for, is you are able to go to your customer, say, listen, Mrs. Schmidt, she's getting a batter in today. Mrs. Schmidt, you know, I believe this product will help you for this and this reason. What do you think? She tests the product, or she reads about the product. She comes back and she says, "Oh, thank you. Yeah, that I've tried it. It's excellent. You know, please order me one." Now, for a business to get to Mrs. Schmidt to do that, it's very, very difficult, and they have to spend a lot of money. And this is where partnerships are of huge benefit for both yourself, because you can earn commission on sales, but especially for the company that you're going to represent. You're seen as a competent professional. Your opinions are important to your customers, and like I said, they will buy products off you if they genuinely believe it would help them. And the advantage we have as golf professionals is there is such a wide range of industries that we can be involved in. You know, anything from leisure, tourism, sport, equipment, clothing, just it goes on and on and on in terms of how we can link products to our golf customers, whether they sleep badly at night, whether they are fashionable, where they go on holiday. All of these things, you have the opportunity to say, you know what, have you ever heard of this mattress, for example? It's something I use. I had back pain before, now I don't. You know, if it works for you and it's something you use, could be vitamins, drinks, you know, the opportunities are enormous. And if it's something you use and you swear by, and you say, listen, I've been taking these vitamins now for 5 years and I've never had a real bad cold. And before I was always down with the gripper. You know, your customers are going to try it. They're going to try it and they're going to say, wow, you know, these are great. Where do I get them from? And if you've got contact with that company, you know, you're going to earn money off it. So understand your value, understand the opportunities you have in terms of partnerships with other companies. I would like, though, to go over some of the really important parts of partnerships so that it doesn't become messy. And always remember your reputation is on the line. Now, this has a positive side and a negative side. The positive side, of course, is your reputation is going to go through the roof if you are partnered with Maserati or you know, Rolex watches, or in my case, Porsche, because they're a respected company and they're not going to deal with clowns. They're going to deal only with people that they see value in. They're only going to have partnerships with people that they believe in, who can bring them customers. So in one way, it's going to elevate your reputation, no doubt about it. Many years ago, I was working together with the Hirslanden group in Basel at the golf clinic Börshof, where we set up a golf clinic, and it was for golf players who had injuries, could come there and they could get a swing check from me indoors to see what they were doing technically that might cause problems. They would then go to the physios would check them out, then the sports doctor, and they would get a complete plan of where they were technically, where they were physically, and what sort of problems they could be having or might be having. And I was fortunate to be able to present for the Hirslanden Clinic on Tele Basel, so live on television, plus Basilisk Radio were there, and do a presentation to about 70 or 80 people. And that connection alone elevated my reputation in the region. And I must have had 20 or 30 new customers come from that. So representing a competent company does a lot for your coaching and for your reputation. The negative side of it, the possible side of it, is something, if you represent a company, like I said, that is a bit off the wall and doesn't have a particularly high moral standing, wants you to sell, you know, it could destroy your reputation if the company you're representing isn't reputable and isn't something that most people look at and say, well, you know, that's not a great company. It's a give and take relationship. This is so important. You've got to give back to the company you're representing. You've got to come with them and do things for them. So, for example, with Porsche, you know, I take a day off and help them with their tournament. I go to their events. I am available to help them with their other events. You know, I do give up time, spend with them. If I have a customer that is interested in a new car, I'm the one who goes, of course, to Porsche and introduces them to the right people. I spend a day with them in the car. I might even take them to a golf club and play golf with them and let them take that car. You've got to give in these relationships. You can't just take. You can't just put your bill in at the end of every month and not give anything back. That's so important that both sides of the party know exactly what the regulations are and you're both trying to help each other. That's where we come to criteria. You need to really, in the contract, you need to understand exactly what your role is and what's expected of you. And the company that you are working with, they need to know as well. You know, that needs to be very clear, written down, So I come back to Porsche as an example. You know, I have a small Probefahrt business card, a test drive card, and I will give these cards to people, and they will go to the Porsche Centrum in Basel, and they will give that card in and say, Adam Lamb sent me here. And at the end of the year, the boss is going to look and say, well, Adam, you know, you only brought 2 people this year. You know, what can we do to change it? Why is there only 2 people come? So, you know, that is in our contract, that I am responsible for so and so many visits, that I do my very best to bring people to that place, because without that, it's going to be difficult for them to showcase their products. You know, what is expected of me? I have to, in my contract, I wear Porsche clothing 3 days a week. You know, so there are areas of that where you really have to know what you are trying to achieve, and it has to be crystal clear, and then it works great. There needs to be creativity on your side as well. You need to be coming up with ideas to how you can help your sponsor sell their product. How can you get people through the door? What can you do to give your company more scope, more presence? Now, we're going to talk about online and things later, but you know, what can you be doing to push that product? And there'll be things that you will create where the partner will say, what a great idea, because they don't really know their way around the golf industry. You know, they might be involved a little bit, but generally they don't know what goes on in a golf club and the opportunities that it presents. And that's your job then to be creative and create ideas. And of course, don't forget the contract. You know, if a friend of yours who owns a company says, can you do this and this for me and we'll pay you X, unless it's written down, it just means nothing. Make sure everything is in the contract. Make sure it's crystal clear. And then you can go back and say, hey, listen, I did this and I've done that. And in our contract, it says that you will pay me this much money. And you haven't. And have the, you know, it sounds clear and it sounds obvious, but you'll be amazed how many people do things as a favor for friends or people they know, and then it ends in tears. So there's some of the golden rules of partnerships, but I recommend all of you to really think about, you know, yeah, it would be a question to you, you know, which businesses would be ideal partners for you? Who could you right now in your current environment, who could you imagine being somebody who you're passionate about and you represent, and you could go to them and say to them, listen, I want to help you, and I can help you because of this and this and this. Think about that. That would be, you know, write that down. Who would be a great business partner for you now? What products do you feel passionate about? You know, what products are you currently already using that you don't get paid for, that you recommend to people, but there's no commission in there for you? You know, write those down right now. You might be using something for the last 5 years and you've not earned 1 franc from it, whereas you could have been earning maybe 10 francs every time you sell one, and you might have sold a few hundred already, or something like that. So that would be the question I would want you to ask yourself. And another question before we move on, and before I check the chat box, would be, from the things that we have discussed until now, how we can change the coaching game, how we can build a business base, a customer base, how we can earn more money, and how we can make partnerships. What 2 or 3 things could you implement directly right now into your business? And write those down. What could you do directly? What could you change straight away to earn that little bit of income next year or through the winter? Right, chat box is empty. Or you're a quiet group tonight. It means I've got to carry on talking. Is the chat box working? I'm going to check it. Yeah, I think it's working. Okay. No questions. Okay. So we will move on. Part 5. Cash in on your knowledge. You are the expert. Don't forget it. You have the knowledge, and you need to share this knowledge And the more you share it, the more money you can earn. I'm a huge believer, like I said at the start, that the more you share, the more you get in life generally, but definitely in the business world. People are very reluctant to share their knowledge and to share their information without being paid directly, holding on to it, a little bit like a Gollum character in Lord of the Rings. It's your precious knowledge and it's for nobody else. But actually, the opposite is the case. The more you share your knowledge, the more you do, the more you write, the more you give, the more you earn. Simple as that. And you can read a lot of wealth management books and a lot of business books about the most successful people in the world, and they will tell you the same thing. So, Benjamin Franklin, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. So, investing in yourself to get that knowledge and then sharing that knowledge is the best investment you can make. So, I feel that you have to position yourself, or certainly aim to position yourself as the expert. Now, depending on what you believe the expert to be, is we're always learning, we're always better, want to be better, and if you're in a room where you're the one that knows everything, you're actually in the wrong room. You want to be in the room where you know nothing, and that's where the room for development is. But we're always heading to try and become the expert and position ourselves as the expert. And I see many avenues of you trying to do that. This is how you will cash in on your knowledge. And I feel that a golf pro today should be looking at building many streams of knowledge. And what I mean there is streams that you can share your knowledge to your customers or to the public generally. Writing articles, writing blogs, free downloads. Something I've done on my website is I do tip pages, tips on putting, tips on chipping in a PDF form, and it's a free download for anybody that goes to my website. It's been very popular. I've had people even bring them to the lessons printed out and say, "Oh, I've been watching this, and can we have a putting lesson?" I've hung them up at the golf club. You know, knowledge for people. People are going to come to you when they read what you've got to say and they like it. Books. Can you write a book? Podcasts, we'll come to online later. TPI, are you the Titleist Performance Institute expert? Can you, position yourself as the expert in that field and be different to the other golf pros in your region or at your golf club? Are you offering something different there? Do you send your customers a regular newsletter? Are you making videos? I'm fortunate enough, I don't know if he's online tonight or not, to work with Andrew Cullen, who's been a friend of mine for over 25 years. And the videos that he produces, I'm sure some of you have seen them. They're absolutely brilliant. The members love them. They're free for everybody. I'm going to learn from them. Other pros are going to learn from them, but more importantly, his customers are going to learn from them. And if you've got this newsletter or this article or this tips page or an ebook that you're going to send out to your customers regularly, they are going to come to you. When they have a question after reading all this material and watching your videos and watching your TPI classes and seeing that you're an expert at TrackMan and that you've got the TrackMan on the driving range, and maybe you write an article about why the TrackMan is important and how it can be used, and then you send that out to your customers. When they have a question, you're the one they're coming to. It's as simple as that. They're going to see you as yes, there's other people online and on YouTube, but they've got a guy doing all the same things here in their local club, or a woman who knows it all, or is at least sharing their knowledge. And if they like what you've got to say, they're definitely coming to you for lessons. Building businesses. I see from Stefan we have a question, so we're going to have a small break there and I'll just read this question. My question is, what % of earnings should come purely from golf lessons? That's a really good question, Stefan. It's very dependent on how you set up your stable. As I'm about to show you now, I have multiple businesses. I have multiple chains of income. I would say directly giving golf lessons in my case, with the upsales as well and the products I sell to my customers, I would say for me it's about 70% of my income. And just the lesson, Stefan was typing in, just the lesson without the knock-ons, I would say is probably about 55% of my income comes from just the simple golf lesson. But as I mentioned earlier, the aim is not to give a simple golf lesson without any of the other things. But thank you for the question, Stefan. Has anybody else got any questions while we have this small break? No, please type it in if you do. I appreciate that. So we're going to move now into building business. So as many of you know or don't know, as John said at the beginning, I did a degree in marketing in 2011. I actually studied economics and business at school at A-level. So I've always been interested in business. My stepfather was also an entrepreneur. So it's always been a little bit in my environment. And in 2011, I finished my master's degree and started to implement, the marketing aspect of my business. I followed that up in 2016 to 2018, doing a master's degree in digital marketing. And in that time, then I have since 2011, actually, I've built multiple businesses that I either own, run, or I have contracts with in terms of commission-based, or I'm a distributor, an ambassador, or I have a simple contract, a working contract with. So all of the businesses on the screen currently are businesses that I earn a certain amount of money from through my work, either directly or indirectly. And I think it's important that I say that some of you will look at that and say, how is that possible? I'm working 10 hours a day, 6-7 days a week, but we know that's not the model that you want to be working on maybe. And how have I got time to do all of these other things? But like I just said to Stefan, I make time. I make time to build other businesses. I make time to run other businesses, and I make time to do work for other businesses. And that is how I build my day, my week. Have a little think right now about what else you could be doing. So I'm going to tell you very openly what I do for these companies. For Davos course, I'm a translator. I do medical translations from German to English and small marketing things. The Marketing Net is my own agency where I do website design, analytics, translations, texts, everything in the room from marketing and digital marketing. Beckwerk, I do translations and text work in English, also analytics for customers. Porsche, obviously, I'm an ambassador. I promote the brand, promote the vehicles. The same with Julian de Berg for the watches. I wear the watches. I promote their company. The golf tent, I'm the European distributor, mainland Europe. It's a product I believe in and I use myself, and therefore I distribute that. Lohmann Offner is a new business. It's a consultancy business for businessmen and women in CEO, and I'm employed there on a contractual basis as part of the leisure aspect. So customers will be sent to me who want to spend a day doing something different. It's a little bit sort of life philosophy, business development. And then the Golf and Lifestyle is an online golf shop that I built, and I sell products there. It's a long-term project. I've just started it this year, where I try to embrace the passion of golf and the sport of golf in products that I think are useful for golfers. So that just gives you an idea of the diversity available to us when we're involved in businesses and other companies. And I'm pretty sure there's nothing that I said there that you would say, wow, that's impossible. I couldn't do that. Yes, you could. You know, if your current salary is your only source of income, you are one step away from poverty. Famous quote by Warren Buffett, the great investor. It's one of the aims today to show you that it's so important that we're not dependent on that one stream of income. I think if anything, COVID-19 is even enhancing that idea that if you were only income based was coaching every day, your lessons, and then suddenly your golf course is closed, you are one step away from poverty. You're digging into your savings, or you're looking for a new job, and it's as simple as that. And I would prefer all of you to already be prepared and not have to react. You know, I'm fortunate that over the last 10, 15 years, I've built other streams of income. And of course, if I can't coach, it's a big part of my income, but it isn't the end. I can do other things. I can earn money in different ways through the development of my skills, but also through the businesses and partnerships that I have. And it's really important that you're not reliant only on that one source of income, because if it gets taken away, we know how the golf industry works. You might get fired. There might be a fallout. The golf club might close. They might decide they don't need golf professionals anymore. And you're scrambling for your next supper, for your next source of income. So, you know, where can you earn more money? What sources of income could you set up? You know, I know most of you speak very good English, and I know most of you have multiple languages, certainly more than me. I'm learning French, and I can speak a little bit of Spanish. I speak fluent German, but I know most of you tonight can speak 4 or 5 languages fluently: French, Italian, German, English. There's a lot of potential there in terms of what you can offer companies in terms of translation work and even, you know, being a tour guide or whatever. You know, why not? If you've got a day free in the winter, go and do something else, earn money instead of sitting at home. Use your skills that you have to open new corridors. You know, you're talented. You have many skills, and there are huge opportunities for you next to golf that you can open the door for more income. It's another leg to stand on, you know, that zweite Standbein. It eases the pressure off your main income. You do not have to go head over heels into building a new business. It's daunting, I know. I've done it multiple times. Start it as a side hustle. If you're passionate about it, start it as something on the side that you can enjoy. And you know, most of the most successful businesses there today, a lot of them started just for fun, and they weren't taken very seriously, and people invested their free time in them, and they started to earn money, and eventually they became a higher source of income than the original source of income, and people grew them and started another side hustle, and, you know, use it as pocket money, even if it pays at the beginning the leasing on your car every month or one of your bills. You know, that's already going to give you more money at the end of the year. And if you're sat there now thinking, well, I don't know what I can do, think about what you might want to do and go and educate yourself in those skills. I mean, like I mentioned, I've read hundreds and hundreds of books on business, wealth management, entrepreneurship, social media, digital marketing, websites, everything to learn those skills. And then, of course, I've gone and done the schools as well to get the certificates. But at the end of the day, you are only restricted by your knowledge. And I currently still read and try to expand my knowledge in lots of different areas so that I can bridge out into other businesses, and I can open a business in this area and be of value to a customer in a different area. And here you have the opportunity to use your network. You know, we're very fortunate as golfers that most of the people who play golf, certainly in the German-speaking countries, are generally quite successful, or they're in positions of power, or they're businessmen or women themselves, own companies, or CEOs of companies. And these guys and girls will really, really help you. You know, if I've had business ideas in the past, I've often trialed it with some of my most, let's say, the wealthiest and most successful customers I've had. I've sat with them, I've invited them to lunch after a lesson and said, listen, I've got this idea, what do you think? And you'll be amazed with the feedback you will get. They've done it, they've been there, they know more than you do. And there'll be things you never have thought of. And if they brainstorm with you, you'll also be amazed of how much they feel like they're involved, and they'll be giving you feedback, and they'll be saying, oh, you know, that idea you discussed last year with me, Adam, I've seen that you've set it up, and I've seen that you're doing it. How is it going? What's the feedback? Is there anything I can do to help you? And suddenly, you know, you've got really successful people then who are prepared to help you with your business. So don't be afraid to use that network. Don't feel like that you're using people. You can say to them directly, listen, I know you're very successful. You've got a lot more, be humble. You've got a lot more experience than I have in this, but I would like to learn more about it. Could you help me? What do you think of this idea? I just want your feedback. And, 9 out of 10 of your customers are going to say, without a doubt, of course, I'd love to help you. Try to build a business that's fun and that you're passionate about. Yes, there are businesses out there that I know I could have started in the last few years that would have earned me more money, but I would have died at the computer. You've got to be passionate about it. If you have a task to do and the company has asked you to do it and you're going to sit there and go, oh no, I've got to do that medical translation for this doctor. Oh God, it doesn't matter what you're being paid to do it, you're not going to enjoy it. But if it's something you like doing and it's something you enjoy, you're going to sit down there, you're going to rip through it, you're going to correct it, you're going to make sure it's the best work you can do, and you're going to send them the bill, and they're going to see that you've done it properly, and they're going to send you more work. And that's so important, that you're very passionate about what you're doing when you think about building another business. Don't think just of how much money you can earn from it. Think about whether you're going to go that extra step, whether you're going to work on a Sunday when normally you'd be sat in front of the telly. Are you going to do that extra to promote that business and build it? And if you're not, it's not the right business. Going to check the chat room before we move on. No more questions. No questions? Okay. So you're either all asleep or you've got nothing to say. Maybe I'm covering everything. So ask yourself, before we move on, where could other streams of income come? What could you do currently? What are you passionate about that could build a future business? If your coaching strategy is to work every single hour God sends and earn as much money as you can in that 24/7 atmosphere or environment, then good luck. But you are going to burn yourself out, and at some point it's going to be mind-numbing, and that's where you have to look. How can you create a business next to golf that gives you a little bit of income, that gives you a break from coaching every single day, and gives you a little bit of balance. So I've always felt that my work in the office for my marketing company, or my work when I'm away with my partnerships, it refreshes you. It gives you balance. It gives you a new energy. And then the next day, when you go into coaching, you feel relieved, and you feel really energetic and passionate about what you're doing. And I know from my previous experiences that if you're just working 7 days a week teaching, you're gonna kill yourself, and you're not going to enjoy it. And of course, you're capped in what you can earn. I just want to move on now then to the modern day communication, what I call the key to the treasure chest. I feel today what we have at our fingertips is like nothing before. And what we are able to do in an hour of our time, and the amount of people that are able to benefit through these communication channels is just unbelievable. The whole world can see and listen to you like you guys are tonight. I'm sat in my office looking at a screen, and you're all over Switzerland and Austria and other places, and we're able to work together. So, we need to take advantage of this in terms of our golf business. We need to take advantage of all the options we have to keep our customers informed of what we're doing, update them on anything that's new, communicate our knowledge to them, show them that we are the expert, allow them to build our golf into their livelihood. And I feel that these few tools here that I've listed are the minimum. I feel you have to have an emailing marketing service. I use Cleverreach, something I use also for my marketing company. The ones at the bottom are the ones I use. I think you have to have a regular email marketing service. You need to be informing your customers once a month at least, if not more, of what you are doing, or even if it's just sharing your thoughts, if it's linked to the latest article you've written, or even if it's just saying to them, listen, this is what I'm planning this winter. Obviously, because it's digital, you can link it then, of course, to all of your websites, your PDFs. It is a very, very comprehensive service. And I'll show you afterwards with the insights and analytics, you can really nail down what your customers want to hear and what they want to see, and just provide content for them that they enjoy. And they're going to come back and they're going to sign up, and they're going to follow you through your marketing, email marketing. There's plenty of different companies on the market who offer this. Of course, we've got and Cleverreach. There's many. I believe you need to have an email marketing service as a modern day golf professional. Most of you know the Pro Agenda system. It's an online booking system. I think we're all pretty clear that that's necessary today. People use their smartphones and tablets and laptops more than ever. People don't want anymore to be booking in a book, writing in a book, and things like this. The online coaching platform also offers the opportunity to link it to your email marketing service. Plus, it offers the opportunity to send massive mails. So you can actually use the online coaching as an email, the online booking system as an email service as well. It has this built-in opportunity. Like I said before, when I was coaching Ivan in Miami, I used the Coach Now system, an online platform. This offers tremendous value to your customers. You upload their swings, you do voiceovers, you provide them with links for things that you think are interesting. You share things that you see with them from social media. You put it on their platform. They have their own private space. They can upload golf swings when they're on holiday or they've played a tournament. You can get back to them. It's a really professional system, and it's going to elevate, again, your reputation and your coaching levels. I've done it on a monthly basis in the past. I've charged 20 francs for people who want to use it. I had 15 people using that last year. So, it's 3,000 income from nowhere. It's not nothing. I think the system only costs 300 a year. So, that's also a source of income for a potential source of income for you if you use it correctly and you show that it's a benefit to your students. Or you can incorporate it into your packages. I know many people do that. but you need to cover that cost, cover that everything you do in terms of paying for these services. They all cost something monthly or yearly. You need to make sure that you're getting that back, whether that's in your coaching fee or whether that's in your packages. It needs to be covered. And of course, if you have 10 people paying, 10 or 15 people paying, 20 francs a month for an online coaching platform, it's paid for itself in 1 month or so. It's not an absolute must, but I think it's going in that direction that you need to have some sort of social media avenue, channel. So, LinkedIn from a professional point of view, again, elevates your reputation, shows you as a business person, not just as a golf coach, allows you to share your videos, your newsletters, your links with the right people, if you like, because the majority of your customers, they're going to be on LinkedIn because they're business people, they're CEOs, they're managers, they're working in companies. They're going to be there. And if they see you on there and they see you sharing things of interest, you're going to be regarded as they are. You're going to be regarded as a competent professional business person who knows what they're talking about. And I have to say, I get more feedback from my LinkedIn shares, and I see that more people see what I'm doing on LinkedIn than in any of my other social media outlets. Facebook, you can also use it because I think the age group, the demographics of Facebook are certainly 40 plus, and that is very much the demographics of golfers. I think Facebook, this is my personal opinion, I think Facebook is a dying canvas. I don't think it's the greatest source of business. I think it's great to share with people on there, and all of your friends and family can see what you're doing, and they can also, click on the things that you have there, and they will enjoy it, but it's not going to create a huge amount of business for you compared to other avenues. Instagram obviously growing, but certainly something for the future. The demographic is very young at the moment for Instagram, but not as young as like TikTok or other ones. But definitely it's worth using. And YouTube, again, very professional system. You can video, you can do blogs, you can do vlogs, you can do webinars for your customers with a link. I did a webinar during the COVID period where I just sent the YouTube link out, and I was live on YouTube discussing some swing technique and discussing the 5 most common mistakes that I see in golfers. And it went down really well. Wasn't a huge turnout, but people watched it, they enjoyed it. And apart from having some difficulties with the sound of my microphone, it was quite a big success. Recommend you have a website. We'll go into that shortly. I'm going to talk about pull and push factors of marketing. Website gives you a hub, a central hub where you can have all of your content available, and you're able to pull through the other mediums people to your website. Plus you have the joy of analytics, actually seeing when you send something out, who visited my website, was it popular, did people click through, is what I'm doing on the right track or is it not? Paid advertising. I did that mental game webinar last winter, and I used paid advertising, which means Google or Yahoo will advertise my, my course. I have to pay for that, but through paid advertising, I had more visitors to my website than I've ever had before. It just skyrockets because you have the power of Google and the power of the big search engines actually sending people to your website and showing what you're doing. So if you're going to sell a course or you're going to sell a book or something and you want that outside potential, you need to be looking into how you can do that with paid advertising. Podcasts, great way to get your message out there and to build up a following. Blogs I've already mentioned, you can monetize them as well, and video blogs. What I've used a lot is the WhatsApp golf groups. I have my winter groups, my ladies groups, my teams, and I contact them directly through WhatsApp. I send links, I send downloadable information, and it's directly into their telephone, and they see it and they download it and they link through, and it's a really, really quick and easy way of communicating with your students and giving them information. And then of course we have our mobile phones and SMS, that's clear. We need to have that available still. And you know, you might want to advertise through an online platform, a product page, or an online shop to place your product that you are selling. You know, if you decided you wanted to sell the mirror or you wanted to sell some clothing, you should have a digital communication tool where people can see that that's available and where they'll be able to find you. Twitter. Stefan's just asked about Twitter. I think Twitter is a great communication tool in terms of getting your ideas out there, and also in terms of seeing what's being discussed, what's actual, what is the latest talk within the golf industry. By that means, you will obviously, if you're talking sense and people like what you say and they like your opinions, they will look further to finding you and what you offer. But directly as a business opportunity, yeah, it would only be through your links and through what you say. But I definitely think in terms of staying in touch with the big world and staying in touch with the latest news and opinions in the golf world, Twitter's very good. Does that answer your question? Yeah, okay. I personally stopped using Twitter just because I just thought there was too much nonsense on there. But maybe I was following the wrong people. But what I noticed was there was a lot of arguments and bitchiness and silliness between some of the top golf professionals, and I didn't see it was beneficial for my time. But you know, I know some people get involved in it, they learn a lot, and there's a lot of great stuff out there for sure. And it can be used for that, no doubt about it. Okay, Ed Stefan Barris. Stefan Barris there with your Twitter address. Yeah, absolutely. So Stefan just said that he used it to get tour resources, and that is absolutely right. You can really find a lot of good information on Twitter, and you can follow some of the top guys. And you have an opportunity as well to give your opinion, and if your opinion is well respected and people like what you say, they will come looking for you, no doubt about it. This is just a printout for you guys just to show you some feedback. You know, this is my newsletter that I sent out on the 3rd of November, so it was only a few days ago. And through my Clever Reach Insight, I could see how many people opened the mail, what percent of people clicked through to the links that I've put in there. I had a one bounce, which just means it didn't deliver. So I can click on that and resend it to that person. And you'll see here that according to the analytics, that the quality of my subject was 5-star and that the quality of my content was 5-star. So that means what I sent was of interest to my customers. I've had other newsletters where it's been 3 stars and 3 stars, where because the click-through means that people, you know, they're not that interested in what you've just sent them, so they don't look further, they don't click through. So this is what the advantages of the digital is. Of course, you have your insights and you have your analytics, and I can then go from this page to my website, Google Analytics, and see, okay, so those percent of people who clicked through, what did they click on? You know, of course I can see here what link they clicked on, but then where did they go on my website? How much time did they spend on my website? Did they click through to something else? And eventually the idea is, did they sign up? You know, it's okay having all these people visiting your website. This is one of my 3 groups that I have for golfers, which has a mailing list of 231. You know, did any of them sign up for anything? And through my experience, you know, you need to resend this. We certainly need to maybe send parts of it again and again, and don't feel like you're spamming them. You know, people see it the first time, don't have time, they forget about it. Then they read it the second time, and then they say, I'm going to sign up for that, I forgot about that. You send it a 3rd time, and you'll be amazed that 3rd or 4th time how many people actually sign up for what you've just sent them 3 or 4 times. People are busy, we know that, and yeah, and you have all the feedback you need here. You can start to say, okay, they're interested in this, they're not, they're interested in that. it's a great feedback tool that you're going to be able to use with these digital tools. Did I see a chat? The pros and cons of using MailChimp and Cleverreach. I would say that MailChimp is more sophisticated and more advanced in terms of it has more connections to other tools. I think most of the big digital platforms like Coach Now, Pro Agenda, and it goes on and on and on, will already have some sort of link to MailChimp, because MailChimp is regarded as one of the most popular and most used email marketing tool. Cleverreach is still very much growing. I like Cleverreach because it's so simple. I have used MailChimp, but to be honest with you, Steph, I haven't used it for a long time. I used it at the very beginning, and I can't really remember exactly how the user face was. What I do really like about this dashboard, if you like, is it's very simple. It's very simple. You want to add a user, you add a user. You want to fill out forms on your website, you link it, you send it, and it's there. There's a fantastic help support system, as there is with MailChimp as well. And I can't give you thousands of reasons why, but I feel Cleverreach is very simple, and there's also a slight price difference. Yeah, I definitely would suggest Cleverreach and recommend it for sure. I think I have an affiliate with them, so there you go. So I might even be able to get you a discount. There you go, set up partnerships. So anyone that does want to join Cleverreach, I can definitely get you a discount on the yearly rate. I think it's simple. I can't say it's better or worse than anything else, but I say it's very simple to use. I hope that's a good enough answer. So I just want to touch quickly on what I call a pull marketing strategy. This is something that I've always tried to create in my digital environment. And what that means is you have your website as your base, and everything you do pulls people back to your website. So whether you have sent somebody a link or whether you have sent them information, that link should be bringing them back to your website. And the advantage of this is that the website stores all the information, you have it available to you directly, and the users are going to find more out about you and about who you are and what you offer when they come back to your website. So when I send out a blog, you can click on the blog and you can read it. The blog is actually on my website, and then there straight away, if you like something within the blog, you can be able to click through to another part of my web page. And I'm going to send the link then through all my channels, whether it's the newsletter. Be aware that you should, change the language a little bit depending on what you are sending. But generally, you can send the same piece of content out across all of your social media areas and have links that are going to send people back to your website. And on that website, then on that piece of content, have links that says, are you interested in this? If you're interested in that, click here. And eventually we're talking about what we talked about at the beginning, the funneling process. If you've just sent out a blog or a newsletter talking about chipping, talking about putting, talking about your beliefs of the swing plane, talking about TrackMan, if you send out that link, there needs to be the next link. There needs to be, once they've read that article and they're like, wow, that's interesting, at the bottom of the page, do you want to use TrackMan? Click here. Sign up now for a TrackMan course, bash. Everything you do, you need to be keeping in your mind that you are trying to funnel your customers to one of your services or to one of your products. Everything you do has to have that next step, that next course, that next service, because people will click through if they're interested. And if they're interested, they want to learn more. And if they want to learn more, they're going to join a course eventually. You know, if they're not, and you will see what, like I just said with the analytics of the email, you'll see what's working and what's not working. If you get no click-throughs for your discussion on putter head covers, then, you know, well, no one's interested. Be realistic with yourself. No one cares. Do something else. Through those experiences, you're going to understand what is valuable and what's not valuable. And if it is valuable, you need to have a course available. You need to have a webinar available. You need to have a workshop available that people can sign up to because they're interested. They want to know more, and eventually they're going to be a customer. So this is what we call a pull strategy. Pulling everything back to the website, and then of course you have your analytics and your insight then to see, is what I'm doing working? Are customers coming to see me on the website? If they're coming, where do they go afterwards? Do they sign up then for my courses? If not, where is the breakdown? This is what we call marketing funnel. Where is the breakdown? Where do they click off? Where do they close the page? Why? And then you have to work on your advertising ability and your, you know, your funneling to make sure that they keep going until you've signed them up to the next course. Okay, any questions on that in terms of a pull strategy if you're going to go very digital? I'll get through the next section as quickly as I can so we still have a couple of minutes at the end. No questions. Okay, so we're just going to move on now to part 8. And we're going to talk specifically now about how you can earn money online, what the possible online income streams are. Some of them I do earn money with, some of them I don't, some of them I know work and I haven't done, some of them you know, are new. But let's go through them one by one. Like paid advertising has, if you have a massive following and you have huge traffic, whether that's on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you could be getting paid to by companies for them to put a sales banner on your page, to have some sort of link to their page. And it's not as many people as you think. And this is something that you could also look into being a partner. You could go to somebody and say, listen, you know, I have X hundred people following me or X thousand people following me on my website. Do you want to pay me to put your company on there? You know, do we want to say that the newsletter is powered by Credit Suisse, for example? Or is the newsletter powered by Julian de Berg? And there is opportunity there if you have a very active social media site or a very active website. There's opportunity to earn money for that. People will pay you to be part of that. So think about that. Like, how could you know, who might be interested? And that goes then to about visitor traffic. You know, if that's one of the avenues you're going to go down, you need to build a strategy to how can you get as many people as possible then into your website, onto your Instagram, onto your Facebook site, onto your YouTube site, so that, you know, YouTube and Facebook will pay you the minute that you start getting over 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, they'll pay you. And even if it's small amounts, you know, you are earning money off what you're anyway doing. Consultancy, something I do, business consultancy, marketing consultancy, golf consultancy. Translations, you know, something I got into many years ago, marketing translations. There was a market there for it. As my mother tongue is English, that I was able to offer my services as a translator, you know, translating documents from German to English for doctors, dentists, clinics. There's money in that. And of course, it's all done online. Any type of services you want to offer, that could be a club, for example. During the Corona shutdown, I did a members club on my website. It cost 120 francs a month, and I only gave access to people who had the link. And I did videos, I did webinars, I did vlogs, I did mental game stuff where I just sat in front of the computer like I am with you guys today and talked about things, interesting things, of course, things that I thought were of value. downloaded videos, made videos in the house, and people were paying monthly for that. And I had 12 people in March, so do the maths. And I was enjoying it. It was fun, but it was a private club, a members club online for people who wanted a little bit more information, and it worked really well. Ebooks. I'll tell you at the end that the product, that is something that I'm definitely going to be involved in. The presentation today is actually based on a book that I've written on maximizing your income as a sports professional, and that will be available as an ebook for you in the turn of the year. So yes, there's money to be made there if you're willing to share your knowledge and you're willing to create something of value. You can earn money by selling ebooks, e-papers, e-documents, an online shop. Of course, it's not as difficult as you think. YouTube, like we said, you set up a YouTube channel, you do podcasting, you do videos, you do simple discussions. Once a week, sit down. Imagine you have a room full of golfers who are interested in knowing what you want to say, and talk to YouTube, and you'll get people signing up, and you'll get people who are willing to listen to you and want to listen to you. Don't forget to link them through to other products, of course. Product sales, social media, blogs. You can monetize a blog using affiliate marketing. I do a recommended reading list on my website that's linked to Amazon. I have an affiliate with Amazon, and I recommend books to my customers that I think they should read. And if they buy them on my website, I receive a few euros for every book that I sell. Very easy to set up. I'm anyway going to recommend them, books that I've read, business books, books about self-development, golf, psychology, fitness. And I've made, you'll be amazed at how many of your customers will come to you and say to you, have you got a good book about this? And you say, yeah, go to on my website. Here's the link. I'll send it to you per WhatsApp. Go on my website, see if this is what you want. They click through. The link then goes through to Amazon with your code in it. They purchase the book. And at the end of every month, Amazon pay you a commission on your sales, and that can be anything. And you can do that through your blogs. You could mention something in a blog where you say, yeah, I did some fitness yesterday. I started a new fitness regime. My muscles are killing today, but it was excellent. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. And if any of you are interested in this this fitness program, click here. They click through and they download the application, and through that you receive, again, a little bit of income. As I already talked about, sponsors will be willing to pay if they can be part of some of your ideas, your courses, your online webinars. I had one of my webinars sponsored last year. Your general website is a possible income stream, as we're doing today. If you've got something interesting to share with fellow professionals, with golfers, mental game, strategy, fitness, make a webinar series, create a 4-piece webinar series, and help other people, and they'll appreciate it. And it's something you can do completely online. Any online coaches and courses, all potential to increase your income. Here you go. There's a webinar that I did in this year in March, April, sorry. It was a live webinar for everyone to join. You could just click on that link, and I was in the office swinging a small club, and I went through 5 of the most common swing mistakes that I see. And people just clicked on and watched on a Saturday morning. Weather was horrible. It was a lockdown. And I know the feedback was very good. People really, come up to me afterwards and, that number 5 that you talked about, that's my problem. What should I do about it? I instructed a little bit about how you can practice it at home, how you can work on it on your own on the driving range. And I also gave people the option to upload their swing to my website on that day for a free swing analysis. That was the upsell. So yeah, the internet offers you some fantastic chances to increase your income as a golf professional, as a coach. In conclusion, then, we'll do the conclusion very quickly, and then if you have any questions, like I said, please put them in. I feel it's about becoming the very best you can be in every area of your life. That's my philosophy. I mean, I don't want to get spiritual with you, but and I'm not religious, but I think when you're looking at yourself as a golf coach or any professional in that case, you should be aiming to become the best you can be. And whether that's becoming fit, whether that's improving your golf game, whether that's in becoming a better coach, whether that's becoming a better person to the people around you, uh, and building a better business. And I think if you add value, you try to become the best you can be in every area of your life and every area of your business and your coaching, and you solve problems for your customers and you show them that you're motivated to help them and you genuinely want what's best for them, your income will take care of itself. And that has been my experience, that the more I have done, the more I've learned, the more I've invested in myself, the more money I've earned. And that continues year on year. And don't be capped by the old ways of earning money as a golf professional. There are so many opportunities today, online, offline, as long as you're prepared to add value, prepared to do that little bit more, in terms of how you build your business. It only takes a few seconds to send somebody a WhatsApp after their golf lesson with their swing, but they'll really appreciate it. It's the small things that shows that you care, and it's really gonna increase how much money you earn, and that's what this is all about today. Last chance for any questions before we finish up. We're bang on time, I think, which is amazing. Do you have anything you want to ask me in terms of what I've presented tonight? And if not, of course, I'm available, like I said, on email. I am offering a course as well. If you want to go into more depth of the things we talked about this evening, I'll break down really how you do the things we talked about in December. It's a 4-part course, working like we have done this evening, obviously, but with discussion and open floor. I'll go into the aspects of how you build your partnership and sponsorship proposals, how you invest in yourself, how you sort of bring the giving philosophy into everything you do, that the more you give, the more you get back. Becoming a networking superstar, how you can really become the expert with your networking. And something that's in the book as well is money management. I've studied economics and business finance and read hundreds of books on finance and money management, and just through my experience of being very much in debt and really not being able to come forward, some ideas on how you can invest your money for passive sources of income. That's like investments, shares, building your residential empire, if you like. These things are included in that course that we didn't cover this evening. The book will be available, like I said. It's been put together at the moment. There is a pre-order special price for you guys if you order it within the next couple of weeks. You get it for $11.99. It's normally $14.99. It's 25% discount, and then you will receive the ebook, which covers everything that's going to be in the course, and also everything in more detail to what we covered this evening. My email address is there, and you can check my website out and my marketing company and other things that I'm doing. I would like to say a big thank you. Just go into the chat box. Thank you very much. The feedback from everybody. I hope you're able to take some things away. Stefan says it needs personally 10 more lives. You don't have to do everything I said tonight, Stefan, to increase your income. But if you can include 1 or 2 things, then it would already help. Caroline, yeah, if there's a book that I could recommend, that's a great question. Crikey. Any one book. You know what? I'm gonna just very quickly open my telephone for that question because just because I have a lot of audiobooks as well, and I think I can definitely recommend one very good book about mastering money is definitely Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. That is absolutely fantastic book in terms of investing, being a better business person, a better business strategist. Think Yourself to Wealth by Napoleon Hill. It's a very old book, but a very, very good book. It's really about business, how to build a business. And $100 Startup would be another one, which is a very small book, which is, you know, it crosses everything we've talked about today. You can relate everything to your golf business. Maybe when I look at the list afterwards, maybe I can send you a mail and with those recommendations. What I would recommend really is that that you've written down tonight the things that you could do to improve your income over last year, that you've made a note of the things that you could automatically include into your business model. And I wish you all the best of luck. And like I said, I'm here if anybody needs any extra help or any support. And I hope that the COVID period soon ends, but it also gives you some time to maybe implement some of the strategies we've talked about tonight. So enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thank you for your really positive feedback, and I hope to see you and hear from you soon. Thank you.